What is up, my dudes? Ryan here, or M&R Productions, and welcome to Ask M&R episode 189, the series where I answer your questions, except if they're about the UCS gunship. I'm completely tapped out on that topic. Just yesterday I sat in this chair and talked about it for way too long, so I am done with that for as long as I can avoid it. If you have any other questions, please leave them below in the comment section. Hit the like button while you're there. I don't usually pimp my merch, but I'm gonna pimp my merch. We dropped a new shirt yesterday. It's the It Is What It Is shirt. It comes on this nice like tan color, and I just think it's a nice simple shirt. It has really nothing to do with Lego. I just feel like I've been saying a lot lately, and I mentioned I wanted to put on a shirt yesterday, so I went and did that, and if you're interested, it's linked below. Anyway, let's hop in with our first question here from Daddy Gus. He says, when are the new Lego Star Wars helmet sets coming out? Should I buy some helmets now, or are there some just around the corner? If April 2022 sounds like just around the corner to you, then maybe you should hold off, but I would say that that is quite a ways away, so far away, in fact, that some of the helmets you might be eyeballing right now would be retired by the time whatever helmet sets might be coming out next year would be coming out. So I would highly suggest, if you're eyeballing any now, buy them now, and you'll certainly have enough time to save up another $60 or $70, or $120 if you're going to want both, or $180 if there's three, or whatever the case is, obviously, for 2022 helmets. Darth Dog says, look at the new Target ad, and can you tell me if they messed up with the 20th anniversary Leia minifig, or are they in the box with the new Slave 1? I doubt it. They are way past street date. So yeah, the new Target ad, if you haven't seen it, has a small error on it in which they show the completely wrong Slave 1 set, and it's hard to blame Target here because whoever's making these catalogs for their advertising probably works with hundreds of brands' products and doesn't understand the minutia of Lego and which Slave 1 is which Slave 1, so I can see how you can get those two Slave 1s confused if you're Target brand marketing, whatever. And I think most people going in to buy the set aren't even gonna notice. Definitely for the people in the know, this is a bit of an odd one to see on an ad. Unfortunately, it's not something you can take advantage of either. That's the bigger thing to me. In the past, there have been errors in ads, and there certainly probably will be in the future. And typically the stores will honor this until they catch on. And like the one that comes to mind was in like 2014 or 2015 with the Ghost and the Phantom. Walmart mixed it up, and you could buy the Ghost for like $25 at Walmart. It was ridiculous. So stuff like that happens. Unfortunately, this is just one you're not gonna be able to take advantage of. You can't walk into Target and ask for a set that's been retired for almost a year for half its retail price. They don't have it. You're not getting it. So yeah, funny one, but unfortunately nothing to hop on for. Thorak Video says, I've never heard of the Unspeakable YouTube guy, but a lot of these influencers don't actually buy the massive mansions. Most of them have strange renting options on those houses, lying about how perfect their lives are. It is their job after all. Yeah, I see your point, although I know for the Unspeakable YouTube guy, specifically, because I listened to like some podcast with him one time, he mentioned how like he bought his house in cash, which is just disgustingly beautiful. Like, good for him for making all that money. So yeah, some of them certainly probably do. It probably just depends on what level they're at. When you're at Unspeakable level, you're buying that stuff in cash. If you're Jake Paul or whatever, Logan Paul, you gotta know. It just depends on what level of influencer, I guess, you are. So yeah, but I see your point. There definitely are a lot of those people in LA, like probably the TikTok people or whatever, probably do that. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on other people's lives like that, but yeah, it is a thing. But that guy specifically, I wanted to set the record straight. I don't know why I'm setting the record straight for him. Christian Reyes says, have you seen the rumors for the Razor Crest Microfighter? If so, what are your thoughts about it? So pretty simply, 2022 looking like there's going to be a Razor Crest Microfighter for $10. They didn't increase the Microfighter price yet. Could it be soon? Probably. Inflation, I mean, right? It's been around since 2014. Inflation's got to be getting up there towards $11 or $12. They're losing money. I mean, realistically, they probably will increase the price at some point, though, jokes aside. But this year doesn't seem to be that year, which is good. So Razor Crest Microfighter is something we have all been waiting for patiently. It was a very obvious choice to bring out, and it's happening. So yeah, that's the basic thing to me. It looks like it's going to have another Beskar Mando, which to me is not the optimal choice. You've got Beskar Mando in like 5 sets already. Honestly, you may as well have just included the older non-Beskar Mando. Like, to me, just to have the diversity in the lineup instead of literally having seven of the same figure in sets across your line at the same time. It's just odd to me to have that many of one figure, as popular and great as that figure is. Like, little changes here and there like we had in the advent calendar wouldn't hurt. So yeah, that's the only downside of that. But seriously, it seems like a great choice for Microfighter for Series 9 now, which is insane. We're on Series 9. Oh, I did have something else to talk about with Microfighters. I find it interesting that they are still labeling them by series, right? So we had one Microfighter in 20 2021. I'm really dumb and I completely forgot that these two Microfighters were also released in 2021. However, my point still stands. If the Razor Crest is the only Microfighter released in 2022, then maybe it might be time to remove the series moniker, as I'll talk about. And now we've had one Microfighter, we're going to have only one Microfighter, I believe, in 2022. But they're still labeling them by series, and it used to be like, Series 2, collect all 6. Now it's, you know, Series 9, collect all 1, and it just, the idea of having the series is unfortunately lost on me now, so I wouldn't be surprised if they rebrand it a little bit soon and just bring it in with the mainline box art. I think that would honestly be optimal at this point. It just doesn't make sense to stick with the old Microfighter stuff, unfortunately, just because they're only doing one a year, which I find odd because there are a lot of things they could be doing really good with Microfighters. They could be a really good way to just throw us a random clone trooper every once in a while, like, here's a shock trooper, here's a right, you know, for $10, they're not losing money on that. So yeah, it's a great choice for 2022, but seems to be a lone survivor. Spirit says, why don't you do sponsorships? Actually, this episode is sponsored by Raid. No, I'm kidding. I don't seem to. I have like I kind of need like a channel manager more than I thought I would. Like, I need to do a lot of things with my channel to help me just be able to do things in a more fluent way. 95% of these sponsorship emails I get, I'm pretty sure are just scams. Like, they'll be like, here's our WhatsApp, and I'm like, I'm not texting your WhatsApp for a sponsorship. We are emailing. So there's that. And then like a bunch of the other ones are like Chinese knockoff companies that are like selling just little random kids toys that see, oh, Lego channel, random little kids toys, this is the guy. You're like, no, you're gonna want to go to Blippi for that. So yeah, I'm not a guy who gets a lot of sponsorship offers, unfortunately. It just is what it is. And I also don't particularly go out of my way to look for them. I know there are certainly companies you can ask for that sort of stuff, so that's where I need like a channel manager guy. If there's any like mad YouTube gurus out there that actually know what they're doing with that kind of stuff, please email me. I would love to have some sponsorships. It's not as easy as I thought it would be to nail some down. Steve says, I'm starting to run out of space to display my Lego, sitting on a number of sealed UCS Star Wars sets, including the Imperial ATST, Imperial Shuttle, Rebel UCS X-Wing, the Slave 1, the TIE Fighter, the Snowspeeder, the Y-Wing Starfighter, and the Millennium Falcon, and I know it's not technically a UCS set, but the UCS Death Star 10188. Do I wait to build the sets when I have more display space, or sell them now? So I don't know why you would sell them, assuming you're not hurting for money. I would assume you're at least somewhat financially stable to have acquired all of those sealed. But like, yeah, I would just wait for more display space. I don't see why not. There are some absolute gems you have there. You could certainly thin that out. For me personally, I would get rid of like the Death Star that for a display set, not so much a great display set. I would have a hard time parting really with any of the others because they are tried and true display sets. And I think you're really going to love a lot of those when you're able to build them. I mean, the UCS Falcon, the Shuttle for 2006, the ATST is actually like incredible. Like I said, some real gems in there. So I would hate to see you get rid of those. I think you'd regret it, but that's just my 2 cents. I say keep them, and hopefully that influences you. Michael says, with LEGO's purchase of Bricklink, how long will it take for LEGO to use all the data, buying and selling trends to improve their business, or do you think LEGO will not use this information correctly? So I think the designers have said that they don't look at how things perform on Bricklink. They don't look at the market prices of anything when determining what to release next, which is completely backwards to me, given some of the other things they have said, but we'll leave that out as it's part of a topic I don't want to touch. Now, I don't know if there's other parts of LEGO that are using this information. We did see a re-release of the Saturn V and the Ship in the Bottle, but with other things from like LEGO Star Wars that are selling really well on Bricklink, we don't see the same type of treatment. So like, it's rather weird what's going on there. I don't know. I don't know if they're using that information what we would consider to be correctly, but I am sure they are using the information in some capacity. I also believe my buddy Sand said a video, you guys might want to check it out, I'll link it below, about like Lego sets that they don't want you to see anymore. I believe Lego is starting to purge some of the items from Bricklink. Like, you can't buy the Osprey, even though it's an officially released Lego set that they packaged and sold themselves. You can't buy it on Bricklink. They also like took off like Lego lighters and stuff, I believe. So rather interesting stuff there with how Lego has handled Bricklink, and I'm sure there's more to it. Maybe it deserves its own video from me to do a deep dive on how Lego purchasing Bricklink has affected it. But as far as I'm aware, there are no actual major issues, which is a godsend. I think myself, Bricks on the Dollar, and Brick Vibe did a whole little podcast thing back when it first happened, which was like a year and a half ago now, which is insane. And so like, I think at the time there were certainly some concerns, and For the most part, from what I can tell from the outside looking in, I mean, I just use Bricklink to buy things, but the sellers seem rather happy with it too. I just don't think it's very much been affected, which is a really good thing, because you didn't want to see LEGO come in and try to change the whole thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think they've even raised the 3% fee. So you can certainly get into the idea that LEGO can do weird things with, like, forcing people to buy things on Bricklink by not providing them for sale through LEGO's avenue, so that they can just make their 3% on Bricklink and take it to the bank. Like, that's a thing. It's a conspiracy. It's out there. You can apply it to a lot of things. But for the most part, I think LEGO's acquisition of Bricklink has been a surprisingly good thing. I should also say this. I think LEGO almost bought Minecraft in like 2010 or 11 or something. Like, there was a point, I believe, Sans was telling me this, it was on like the Bits and Bricks or Bricks and Bits podcast, not my Bricks and Bits podcast, Lego's Bricks and Bits podcast. So I believe on this podcast, Lego at one point had the ability to buy Minecraft, because Notch apparently based Minecraft. This is all hearsay. I guess I haven't done my own personal research. I am telling you this story based off someone else's telling of a story, based off someone else's telling of a story. But apparently Notch had based the game off Lego, obviously, kinda, like you can see the similarity. And so that's probably why there was such an early partnership between Lego and Minecraft. I think as far back as 2012 or 2013 at the latest, because I know there was a Minecon figure at Minecon 2013. And you have this partnership there. I believe when Minecraft was trying to be sold, they tried to sell it to Lego, and Lego, because Lego Universe, there was some big Lego game, had just failed, and they didn't want to spend any money on stuff like that. They wanted to do like small budget things. They didn't want to buy Minecraft. And of course this now, I believe, is a big regret for Lego, because they would have had this really great property that now obviously Microsoft has and makes money hand over fist with. So yeah, Minecraft, you know, I had been thinking, I was glad that Lego didn't buy it, but honestly, seeing the way they've handled Bricklink, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But yeah, either way, it's an odd thing to think that Lego could have literally owned Minecraft, and it therefore would not have been a third-party IP anymore. It would have been original Lego theme, kind of, because they own it. No IP partner fees or whatever. Would have been cheaper. So yeah, crazy stuff with Minecraft, but maybe that's worth its own video someday. I have to find the podcast. I couldn't even link it for you guys. I don't know where it is. Martin says, I haven't been buying any Lego for 10 years, and the first one I bought were both from the Clone Wars. What sets from the Clone Wars can we expect in the coming years? I would expect very little, to be frank, and I don't know where else I was going to go with the answer to this question, so we will move on to the next one. Phoenix Productions says, what are your thoughts on the Green Mandalorian from the Mandalorian Battle Pack being re-released for UCS Slave 1, because we all remember a Green Mandalorian piloting the Slave 1, right? And I forgot I wasn't going to talk about the UCS gunship, so we'll talk about the next question from HKR12. He says, with the LEGO company's efforts to become more environmentally friendly, do you think we could see the removal of physical instructions from sets and a shift to online-only instructions? So, I think I've talked about this before, and I don't think this can ever happen for a couple reasons. One, what if somebody just doesn't have internet access for whatever reason? Two, part of LEGO's draw is being disconnected from the internet. That is part of what they have built themselves on, part of their marketing schemes and everything. So having to access the internet to get the instructions is kind of backwards when you think about it that way. And on top of that, third reason why they'll never do this is if a parent buys a Lego set for a kid, now that parent has to provide that kid with an electronic device and just let them freely use it for however long. They could break it, they could just access weird things on the internet, they could just play games that the parents don't want them to be playing anyway to waste their time. But, you know, there's a whole myriad of reasons not to do this, in my opinion, to save some paper. They could maybe just change the way their instructions are made so they're more environmentally friendly, I guess, although I'm sure they already do it in the best way that they can. I think there's certainly other things they can do to be more environmentally friendly, but yeah, I don't think removing instructions is ever gonna happen. Like, I bet a lot of the Lego customer service stuff that they get, like, from just parents not knowing what they don't know on emails or whatever is just weird. But, like, imagine the day instruction booklets stop being put in the box, which is just one of those intuitive things. When you buy a Lego set, it comes with the instructions. You are gonna be, like, it's just the endless emails, the endless messages, the endless, like, DMs on Instagram, like, it's just never gonna end. So yeah, just not a chance that ever happens, in my opinion. Idle Cylinder 573 says, could the reason for the price increase on battle packs in 2022 be because they are making them in the CMF style with higher print details and stands, etc.? Then again, LEGO's been downgrading figures recently to scrape off a little more profit, so this doesn't really sound like something they would do. All right, we'll ignore the second part of your question and the first part of you. Hopefully. Hopefully. That sounds like a really good idea. It hadn't really crossed my mind, and if the figures are of CMF quality, $20 is really fair at that point. So I would hope, but it does sound pretty far-fetched to me. It would be awesome if we had full leg printing, full waist printing, full arm printing. You know, I don't think we need a dual molded helmet for the Snowtrooper. They could just use the old one, that's fine. So they could go that route. I would be completely in on that. That would be awesome. It would make it more value for your money. Of course, LEGO's not just increasing the price to $20 and giving us better quality figures out of the goodness of their heart. They're probably going to make a little bit more money along the way, but if it ends up as a better product for us and we're getting better value for that regardless, fair game. A lot remains to be seen about that set though, as far as like what the stands exactly will be and how the figures look. I think those are the most important things for this set. The CLC says, why do you hate laser tag and escape rooms? Personally, I love them. Love your videos. I appreciate that. The reason I hate laser tag, I love laser tag when I was young, right? I think everyone does. I used to go to the Andretti theme park down the street, and bro, laser tag was just my jam. I loved it to no end. But as I've grown up, I have come to just detest it. I think it's terrible. I think it's a waste of money. There is no thrill in it to me, and I just don't get the enjoyment out of it. That's why I don't like it, because I don't enjoy it, because I think it got ruined for me by playing Airsoft a lot. I want to be able to feel it. And I know there's like types of laser tag that you can feel, I guess, but like I want to be able to put myself in a position where the hair on the back of my neck stands up, because I'm actually scared to get shot because it might hurt. You know what I mean? Like paintball and airsoft provide that for me. Laser tag doesn't, and I'm just not interested in that experience. I also worked a laser tag place for a job, and I hated that, and so that probably rubs off on that as well. And I also realized how much of a ripoff it is. They would charge people like $5 or $7 or something to play one game of laser tag that was like 10 minutes. So I would like, you know, I as the operator could like adjust the time. So I would always try to bump it up a couple minutes. Like I don't know if it was 10 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever it is, but whatever it was, I would try to like add a couple minutes onto, because I was like, bro, this is just an absolute scam here. So yeah, laser tag, not my jam. And escape rooms, I've never even done an escape room. I just hate them to hate them. All right, just let me be. Trevor says, how do I feel about the Patriots releasing Cam Newton? Like the way you wrote that. And having watched Mac Jones quite a bit in college, it'll be interesting to see how he does it without multiple amazing receivers. Hey, I think the Patriots receivers are amazing, although I might be a bit biased. I'm kind of sad they released Cam. I like the guy. He seemed like a really fun guy to have on the team, and I guess obviously the decision was made to go with Mac Jones, and I already bought my Mac Jones jersey, so I'm all aboard the Mac Jones hype train. Hopefully he pans out. I guess I'm glad I didn't buy a Cam Newton jersey last year when I almost did, so that worked out for me very well. But yeah, he seemed like a good guy. Like obviously just didn't perform as well as you would have hoped playing football, but I mean, I was all for him staying on the team this year. I was all for it. I was hoping he would be on the team, even maybe as a backup quarterback. That would have been great, because I think he's still good. That's just, maybe I'm biased because I like the Patriots, and anyone on the Patriots instantly becomes the best player ever. So I hope Cam Newton can find a place to play. It'd be really cool to see him on a team, because he seems like a really neat, fun player to have. I see a lot of Cam Newton slander on the NFL Reddit, and I will not stand for it. He's a good guy, all right? Lego Danny Bob says, are you gonna do an Indiana Jones movies marathon? And also, would you ever consider doing your eyebrows? I'm definitely watching Indiana Jones. I was gonna watch it last week, and I don't know why I didn't. It's gonna happen. Before I do any reviews, any videos, I'm gonna make sure I actually know something about the movies, other than that Han Solo is Indiana Jones. So yeah, that's happening. So the eyebrow thing, I picked this question like 3 days ago, and I thought it was odd. I thought it was funny, so I picked it. And then, on my video yesterday, somebody had the audacity to write, "What is wrong with your eyebrows?" And now I'm going to be self-conscious about my eyebrows for the next 3 days. So shout out to that guy. You're the best, man. I guess I have to do my eyebrows now. I don't know. I have to go to a place and ask them to do it. Because I like, shave them every once in a while, you know? Like, just to keep them straight or whatever. But apparently I do a poor job, judging from the comments. So thank you for your critiques. We will see what the management can get done. Lego Dude 57 says, if your house was in the direct path of a Category 5 hurricane, if you don't know what a Category 5 hurricane is, I believe it's winds over 155 or 165 miles an hour. Basically, bad time hurricane, get out of town hurricane. He says, and you had to evacuate, what would you do with your Lego? So, if I had to evacuate, I can only bring as much stuff as will fit in my car out of my house. Category 5 hurricane coming straight for West Melbourne. And let's say I'm actually scared the house is going to get destroyed or whatever. I would probably, you know, taking my laptop, I'm gonna take some clothes. I'm definitely gonna take like my, you know, gold C3PO. I'm gonna take my first file, first battle pack. Like, there's some things I would have to have. A lot of it that I would be taking would be the sentimental stuff. I think I would try to take my PC because my PC is a beast, and like I can't be letting that thing get destroyed, even though it's really big and it would take up a lot of space in my car. My car does not have a lot of space, but yeah, I would probably just pack a bunch of sentimental stuff. I don't even know how much Lego I would actually bring, because a lot of this stuff is replaceable at the end of the day. So as long as you got insurance, I mean, it would be really, really unfortunate. It would be a massive just pain in the butt if that ever happened. But the reality is, what would I do with my Lego? Most of it would be just left here, because that is the option on the table. It's like, I can't just sit here and defend it. I don't get a shield and a sword and, all right, Hurricane, here you come. Like, just isn't gonna work like that. So you just gotta leave it and hope for the best at that point. And that's probably what I would do. Like I said, I would just take sentimental stuff, because that's what, you know, that's what really matters. Everything else is replaceable. Money can fix, and as long as you got insurance, you're gonna be fine with that for the you know, assuming you have decent insurance, obviously. That is gonna do it for today's episode of Ask M&R. If you guys did enjoy, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and you can check out more Lego videos on the end screen now.